Rama Rama, Namaste everyone. Welcome you all to session 21 of Samskrita Shri Pathamala 1. Today we'll go into Vibhaktis. Let us begin with Mangala Shlokaha. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighno Prashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalasphatiकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastestu Veena Pustakadharini Hamsavahana Marudhe Vidyadanam Purushvame. The Subhashitam for the day. Na kaschit api janati kim kasya shvo bhavishyati ataha shvaha karniyani kuryat adya eva buddhiman kuryat adya eva buddhiman. So what is the meaning? Nobody knows, no one knows what will happen and to whom tomorrow. And what does a wise man do? The wise person does today what is to be done tomorrow. So I've just highlighted the avyayas which you already know. Na is not, api is also, kim is what, and shvo is another way of writing. It's a sandhi form of writing shvaha, which is tomorrow. Ataha, therefore, shvaha, tomorrow, and adya is today, eva is only. So the wise man does today itself what needs to be done tomorrow, because nobody knows what will happen and to whom tomorrow. So in the last class, we were seeing the components of the Samskrita padas, the types of Samskrita padas and their components. So we know that in Sanskritam there are only two types of words, which are Subantas and Tingantas. Subantas are otherwise called Namapadas and Tingantas are otherwise called Kriyapadas. So Subanta is similar to a noun in English, and Kriyapadam is the verb. Tingantam is the verb. All the other types of words will fall into this one of these two categories, either a Subanta or a Tinganta. Mostly the Sarvanamas, which are pronouns, the Avyayas, which are indeclinables, the Visheshanani, which are the adjectives, Kriya Visheshanani, which are the adverbs. These things come under the category of nouns. Next we saw that whether it is a Subanta or a Tinganta, it has two parts. What are they? They are Prakriti and Pratyaya. Prakritihi, Pratyayaha. So every word has these two parts. That is what makes a padam. And only a padam can be used in a sentence. You cannot use a Prakriti as such in a sentence, neither can you use the Pratyaya alone. So for Namapadam, the Prakriti part is called the Pratipadikam or the noun stem, and the Pratyaya part is called the Supratyaya. That is why the noun itself is called Subantam, because it has Supratyaya at the end. Anta is the end. It is called Subantam. Whereas the Kriyapadam has as its root, as its Prakriti, the verb root, which is the Dhatu. And the Pratyaya part is the Ting Pratyaya. That is why it is also called Tingantam, or that which has a Ting Pratyaya as its ending is called a Tingantam or a Kriyapadam. I hope it is clear till this. Then we started seeing the word analysis of different words. Mainly we saw the word analysis of Namapadas. For this, we call it as Pada Parichayaha, or describing the word fully in terms of all its attributes or characteristics. So the Pada Parichayaha, for instance, you take this sentence, Ramaha Namati. In that, the Subanta or the Namapadam is Ramaha. So the Padam given in the sentence is Ramaha. We saw that the primary, the basic Shabda is Rama. This is Rama with a Haraswa Akara ending. This is called the Pratipadikam. Rama is the Pratipadikam. The Anta or the ending is Akara, Rasva Akara. The Lingam, of course, is Pullingam. Purusha is Prathama Purusha. It is when two people are talking about somebody called Rama, it is the Anya Purusha or Prathama Purusha. What is the Vibhakti? We will learn about the Vibhakti soon. Vachanam is Eka Vachanam. We are talking about a single person called Rama. Namati is the Kriya Padam, for which the root is the Prakriti part, is the Dhatu, which is the verb root. It is Nam Dhatuhu, and its Lakara or the tense. Lakara refers to both tense and the mood. Here it is the Lat Lakaraha, which is the present tense. The Purusha is Prathama Purusha. Because we have used a Prathama Purusha now, we have to use a Prathama Purusha verb as well. And the Vachanam is Eka Vachanam. We have used an Eka Vachanam noun, and so we use an Eka Vachanam verb as well. So for this, we saw that the Subantam has the following properties. What are they? The Anta, which is the ending of that Pratipadikam. The last letter of that Pratipadikam is called the Anta. Next, the Shabda itself. The Pratipadikam is called the Shabda. Next, we saw the Lingam. The Lingam can be one of the three lingas, which are Pullingas, Strilinga, Napumsaka Lingam. And Purusha is Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Anya Purusha, Uttama Purusha. Next is Vibhakti, which we have not seen yet, and Vachanam, which is Eka Vachanam, Dvivachanam, and Bahuvachanam. These are the characteristics of a Subantam. Next, a Kriyapadam or a Tingantam has a Dhatu, which is the Prakriti, which is there are around 2000 dhatus in Sanskritam, and it can be one of those 2000 dhatus, and also there are 10 lakaras or tenses and moods put together. There are 10 of them, so it can be one of the 10. Then it will have a Purusha, which Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, or Uttama Purusha, and Vachanam, Eka Vachanam, Dvivachanam, or Bahuvachanam. So after the last class, many of you wanted to know how to find out the Shabda. What do we do? For instance, I had given you the word Guravaha, isn't it? So for Guravaha, we know that the different forms in the different vachanas are Guruhu, Guru, Guravaha, right? So we learned that the Guru Shabda has these three forms. So when we are given Guravaha, we should find out which is the word which has this form in one of the three linga, in one of the three vachanas. So Guruhu, Guru, Guravaha, we already know. So since it is coming as one of the three words that we know, we can associate it with the respective Shabda. The Shabda is Guru Shabda, which has a Harasva Ukara ending. So the Ukaranta Pullinga Guru Shabda is the Shabda. Of course, it is the Prathama Purusha word. Asmad is Uttama Purusha. And we know that, I think the word given was Avam. So we know that Aham, Avam, Vayam comes in the Asmad Shabda. So we have to immediately associate it with the Asmat Shabda, and we know that Dakara is the ending of that Asmat Shabda. Similarly, for Tau, we know that the Shabda in Pullingam has Sahataute, Strilingam has, sorry, I've given a Ta, it should be Sa, Te Taha, I'll correct it right away. Sa Te Taha, and in Napumsakalingam it is Tat Te Tani. Yeah, so we know that Tau comes as the Pullinga form of Tad Shabda. So in Tad Shabda, Dakaranta is the ending. So that is how you identify the Shabda. In Yushmat, we saw Yuyam. Yuyam is the Bahuvachana form of the Yushmat Shabda in the forms that we have learned. Tvam, Yuvam, Yuyam, which are in Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, and Bahuvachanam. Male, we know that Mala, Male, Malaha. It is the Mala Shabda. I'm sorry, this also should be Mala Shabda. And Idam, we saw Imani. Imani is Napumsakalinga form, Bahuvachanam. So we know that it is the Idam Shabda's Bahuvachana Napumsakalinga form, because if we know all the forms, we can easily associate it with the Shabda as well. So normally we, from the ending, we will be able to infer the Shabda from which it is coming, because all Shabdas have a particular way of declining in the different Vibhaktis. We will easily be able to identify the Shabda. It will come with practice. So there is nothing to worry about it. Now let us do some practice in this regard. I will give you a Padam, okay, and you will tell me the Shabda, what is the Anta, what is the Lingam, and what is the Vachanam as well. So, if anybody is willing to answer, please raise your hands. What is Pratyaya? There's a question. What is Pratyaya? Pratyaya is an affix, or which is an ending. For now, that is all you can understand. There are different types of Pratyayas or endings which are added to words, which can be either Namapadas or Kriyapadas, or which can be added to either Pratipadikams or Dhatus to give rise to either Namapadas or Kriyapadas. So the Pratyaya is nothing but an affix or an ending, is what you need to know. Ma'am, can you please explain the previous slide? Can you tell me which slide, Shriya, Badida? Can you write as to which slide exactly you want me to explain? In the meantime, we'll take this exercise and then come back to the questions. Sukanya C.
Ram Ram Namaste.
Ram Namaste.
Shiva Shabdaha.
Yes.
Akarantaha.
Yes.
Lingam is
Shiva is
Pullingam.
Pullingam.
Yes. And Vachanam is Ekavachanam.
Uttama. Ekavachanam.
Bhojane. Bhojanam Shabda.
Yeah. So can you tell me the different forms in the different vachanas?
Bhojanam, Bhojane, Bhojanani.
Uttama. Because this is a
Napumsakalingam. Lingam.
Yes. So bhojanam, it is a akaranta napumsakalinga word which has a as its ending. The comes for napumsakalinga prathama purusha ekavachanam. I mean the prathama vibhakti ekavachanam. So what we do is we take the ending akara as the anta.
Okay. Napumsakalingam. Dvivachanam.
Yeah. Dvivachanam.
Dhvani. Is this Strilingam?
Now we have learnt Pullinga Ikaranta Shabda, right? What is that?
Pulling. Guruhu.
That is Ukaranta.
Yeah.
For I, what did we learn? We learned one Ikaranta Shabda and one Ukaranta Shabda.
Yeah.
What is that one? We learned the Hari Shabda, right?
Yeah. I'm not able to recollect. Yeah.
Okay. So Hari has the three forms in the three vachanas as, can you recollect that?
Yeah.
Harihi.
Hari, Harayaha.
So you had an Ikara ending, right? Hari for the Dvivachana, if you remember.
Yeah. Okay.
This is similar to that. Dvanihi,
Okay.
Dvani,
Dvani,
Dvanayaha.
Dvanayaha. Okay. So this is Dvani Shabdaha.
Yes.
Ikarantaha.
Yes. Harasva Ikara is the
Ikara.
ending.
Yeah. Lingam is Pullingam.
Yes.
Vachanam is Dvivachanam.
Dvivachanam again. Uttamam.
Yeah.
Next is
Sitaha. Sita Shabdaha.
yes.
Antaha.
Very good.
Strilingam Bahuvachanam.
Samichinam. Uttamam.
Dhanyavad.
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 Veena Honati. Do you want to try the next set of words?
Yes. Namaste, Bhagini. Namaste.
Ram. Namaste.
Pankajani. Pankajani.
Yes.
Shabdah Pankaja Shabdah. Akarantaha. Napumsakalingaha. Prathama vibhaktihi bahuvachanam. Pathau. Patha Shabdah. Akarantaha. Pullingaha. Dvivachanam. Manayaha. Mani Shabdah. Ikarantaha. Pullingaha. Bahuvachanam.
Samichinam.
Mandura Shabdah. Mandura Shabdah. Akarantaha. Strilingaha. Ekavachanam.
Ekavachanam. Samyak Bhagini. Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah, Bhagini.
I think there is one more set. Venkata Krishna Prasad Mahodaya. Venkata Krishna Prasad Mahodaya. You are self-muted. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm unable to hear you. Vidya Subramaniam. Bhagini? Do you want to try? Rama Rama.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Rama Rama.
Rama.
Vayam. Just aham avam vayam. So अस्मत् शब्दः
Uttama.
दकारान्तः.
Yes.
No linga bheda for अस्मत् शब्दः.
Very good.
And bahuvachanam.
Bahuvachanam.
गजः गजौ गजाः.
Excellent.
गज शब्दः
Yes.
अकारान्तः.
Yes.
पुल्लिङ्गः.
Yes.
द्विवचनं.
Samichinam.
मालिकाः. मालिका शब्दः
Can you repeat that?
आकारान्तः. मालिका शब्दः आकारान्तः. स्त्रीलिङ्गः बहुवचनं.
Sam.
वीणे वीणा शब्दः
Yes.
आकारान्तः.
Yes.
स्त्रीलिङ्गः द्विवचनं.
द्विवचनम्. उत्तमम्. धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः.
So today we will learn a few more Kriya Padas. Dhyayati. Okay. Dhyayati. He or she or it meditates. Bodhayati. Bodhayati means teaches. Tishtati. I think this came in one of the sentences we saw in the exercises. Tishtati means to stand. Tishtha is to stand. So stands. Poshayati is to nourish or take care of. Like Mata Poshayati. The mother nourishes or takes care of the child. Prasarati means, oh, it's not remembers, it spreads. Prasarati means to spread. And the next is Samarpayati means he or she or it offers. So it is not remembers, I just correct that. So Dhyayati meditates, Bodhayati teaches, Tishtati stands, Poshayati to take care of or nourish, Prasarati to spread, and Samarpayati to offer. These words again, you can try to write the different Kriya Pada Rupas in Lat Lakara. Okay. Now we will see some sentences. If somebody is willing to read, you can raise your hand. Okay. You want me to do the dhatus again? What is the meaning of Manayaha? Manayaha is the plural of Manihi. Just like Harihi, Hari Harayaha, we have Manihi, Mani Manayaha. And Trilingam means in all the three lingas, it is the same form. For Asmat Shabda, Aham, Avam, Vayam, you can't make out the lingam because in all three lingams, it is the same form. Not able to understand Napumsakalingam. Napumsakalingam, the forms are, we have learned only the akara ending words. So it will be like phalam. So in singular, it is phalam. In dual, it is phale, and plural, it is phalani. Okay, so you want me to do the dhatus again? We'll do that. Somebody wants to read, you can read the dhatus as well. Ram K 1986. Ram K 1986, Mahodaya. You can try unmuting yourself now. Okay. Rangapriya Shekhar.
Ram Acharya.
Ram. Yeah.
Dhyayati. Meditates.
Very good.
He or she or it meditates. Bodhayati. Teaches. He or she or it teaches.
The Mahaprana is in dha, not in ba. So bodhayati. Okay.
Bodhayati. Tishtati. Stands. He or she or it stands.
Put down.
Poshayati. Poshayati. Nourishes or takes care of. He or she or it
Yes.
takes care of.
Put down.
Prasarati. Spreads. He or she
Yes.
or it spreads.
Okay.
Samarpayati. He or she or it offers. Offers, or can it also be surrenders, madam? Or is it different?
Yeah, it can have different connotations. Surrender can also be one of the meanings.
Okay.
Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavadaha, Acharya.
Uttam. Dhanyavada. Now, we will go to these sentences. Rekha MS.
Ma'am, Ramah
just
karot. Shall I read, Acharya?
Please.
Ramah karoti.
Yes.
Rama does it.
Yes.
Ramam pashyami. I see Rama.
Yes. So
Ramena.
can you see the, just hold on for a minute. So
Okay,
here, the form is not something that you're familiar with. It has Ramam. It is having an ending. And here in this sentence, I see Rama. The subject or the person who is doing the action is me. I see Rama. So Rama is the person who is seen. So that is why there is a change in the form of the word Rama. Yes, please continue reading.
Acharya, may I ask a doubt here? Aham Ramam pashyami. Aham is understood, is it?
Yes,
Implicit.
because yes, the me ending will not come with any other noun, isn't it? Aham
Yes.
is the only possible noun. So it is understood in this place. Similarly,
Okay.
here also Ramaha karoti, it is given. But in English, we say it. So it is understood that something is being done by Ram. That's all. So
Okay.
there are certain inferred words in sentences as well. Okay.
Okay. Ramena kritam.
Yes.
Done by Rama.
Yes.
Ramaya yachami. I give to Rama.
Yes.
Ramat swikaromi. I take from Rama.
Yes.
Ramasya Dhanuhu Kodandam. Rama's bow's name is Kodanda.
Good.
Rame Bhaktihi Mama. My bhakti is in Sri Rama.
Yes.
Hey Rama, Atra Agaccha. Oh Rama, please come here.
Yes, very good. So here you see that instead of the word by and Rama together, we are replacing it with Ramena. And to Rama is replaced with Ramaya. From Rama is replaced with Ramat. And Ramas or of Rama is replaced with Ramasya. And in Rama is replaced with Rame. And when you're calling out Rama, when you're calling Rama, you use Hey Rama. It is a way of calling Rama. You don't say Ramaha, you say just Rama. That is Sambodhana or vocative. So this is O Rama, come here. Atra Agaccha. Dhanyavadaha Bhagini.
Dhanyavadaha, ma'am.
So you don't have to understand these sentences fully. Just observe that there are different forms of the word Rama that are being used in different connotations. Similarly, we will see a shloka which has all these forms of the word Rama. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Nishachara Chamuhu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Ramatnasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayak Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Here we have Ramo. This is actually a variation of the word Ramaha. So Ramaha Rajamanihi. He is the jewel among kings, or he is equivalent to a precious stone among kings. He always wins. Sada Vijayate. Ramam Ramesham. Rama, who is the husband of Rama. So Rama's husband Ramesham. I worship him. Ramesham Bhaje. Ramena Abhihata Nishacharachamu means by Rama the entire army of Asuras was killed. Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. To that Rama I bow down. Ramat Nasti Parayanam Bharataram. There is no other place to go except to Rama. Ramasya Dasosmya Dasaha Asmi Aham. I am Rama's servant. Rame Chittalayaha Sada Bhavatu Me. Let my mind always dwell in Rama. Ho Rama Mam Uddhara. O Rama, please save me. So here also we see that in different contexts, the word Rama has different endings, and it is used to replace the word Rama in combination with different prepositions. So next we will see the shloka which has the same type of forms with the Guru Shabda. So here we have Gurureva Gatihi Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guru Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasti Guru Mama Pahi Guru. Here also we have Guru, Gurum, Guruna eva, Gurunaiva, and Gurave, Guroho, again Guroho, and Gurau and Guro. Here the different endings again represent different contexts in which the Shabda Guru is used. So the different parts of the sentence in which a noun may be used will have different endings based on its meaning. So let us quickly see the meaning of the shloka as well. Guru is my only place of where I can take refuge. I worship the Guru. Gurum eva bhaje. Guruna eva sahasmi. I am always with my Guru and I salute the Guru. There is no one above the Guru. There is no one greater than my Guru and I am his child. Shishuhu asmi guroho. Mati rasti gurau. May my mind be always in the Guru's thought and save me Guru. Mama pahi Guru. Oh Guru, please save me. This is the overall meaning of this shloka. So why are these different words having different endings? Because of the addition of the vibhakti pratyaya or the sup pratyaya that we saw before. What did we see? That every namapada has a prakriti part and a pratyaya part, and the pratyaya for a namapada is a vibhakti pratyaya. By adding different pratyayas, we get these different endings for different shabdas. So what is a vibhakti? It is nothing but the ending which is added to that root, the noun stem, which is called the pratipadikam. We'll take the example, Saha Ramaha Asti. We have seen many sentences of this type, right? Saha Ramaha, Tat Bhalam, Tat Bhavanam, Sa Mala, Sa Sita. So many sentences we have seen. So Saha Ramaha Asti, in which Rama is the Pratipadikam. You have added a pratyaya called Sup, called the Sup pratyaya, which has given you the form Ramaha. Now, you don't have to know all this breakup. You just have to know that there are certain endings which are added to the main shabda to give you the different forms. What is the purpose of adding that? The vibhakti can serve different purposes, just as how we saw in those sentences. Saha Ramaha Asti, Aham Ramam Pashyami. In those sentences, as well as in the two shlokas, what do we see? You point out somebody with a vibhakti. So Saha Ramaha Asti, Yam Sita Asti, Tat Phalam, Tat something Asti, Tat Pustakam Asti. So these are ways in which you point out, and for that you use the vibhakti pratyaya at the end and use it in a sentence. That is one purpose. The next is to indicate a relationship with the verb. Saha Ramam Pashyati. He sees Rama. So the doer of the action is that Saha, somebody whom you have referred to probably in your previous sentences. So you're using the pronoun Saha, which is the Tat Shabda. Ramam Pashyati. He sees Rama. So here Rama is the object in the sentence. And then the next purpose can be to indicate the relationship with another object or person. For example, Etat Ramasya Pustakam Asti. This is Rama's book. So this establishes the connection of Rama and the book, because the book is owned by Rama. So it indicates the relationship with another object, and it could also mean in sentences when you see certain words like saha or vina and There are other words which, when they appear, there are rules which stipulate that this is the vibhakti which you should use along with these words. So, based on those conditions, you may use the different vibhaktis. So, the choice of vibhaktis will depend on these things. What role that particular noun has to play in the sentence, as well as what are the words with which it appears and what are the other words in the sentence with which it is associated. So these are the things which are indicated with the help of vibhaktis. So vibhakti in English, you may call it as case endings. So we'll see briefly, this is just an overview. You don't have to worry about learning this or memorizing this. This is just to get you an understanding of what are the different types of contexts in which we are going to use the different vibhaktis. The Prathama Vibhakti is a nominative case. Each thing has a name in English as well. So nominative case has these vibhaktis for the three vachanas. I mean the pratyayas for the three vachanas, which are sup, au and jas. So don't worry about these things. You don't have to memorize all this at all. So I'm just showing you this to indicate that there is something like this. The Prathama Vibhakti indicates that the person with this pratyaya is the subject of the sentence. Next, we have the Sambodhana Prathama Vibhakti. Again, it is the same three pratyayas which are added, which are sup, au and jas. So that is why these both of these are called Prathama Vibhakti. The pratyayas which are added are the same, only that in Sambodhana Prathama, there is a difference that you use it exclusively for calling a person or addressing a person. Next is Dvitiya Vibhakti, which has the endings out and shas, and a Dvitiya Vibhakti ending indicates that that particular noun is an object. So it is the object in a sentence. Tritiya Vibhakti has the pratyaya sta, bhyam, bis. It means by, with, by means of. Chaturthi Vibhakti has nye, bhyam, vyas, which means to or for. Panchami is ablative, which means from or out of or than. And then Shashti, we have, this is the genitive, which indicates that something belongs to, of, or among, or belonging to. Thus, os, am, and Saptami is a locative, he, os, sup. So, in, on, at, among, upon, all these prepositions are indicated with the help of the Saptami Vibhakti. So, this is a broad overview. Don't worry too much if you don't understand this. We are going to have plenty of practice with the usage of each and every Vibhakti. We will both learn the rules as well as practice it with the help of sentences. In fact, the rest of the book is only about practicing the Vibhakti usage. So we saw that there are 7 Vibhaktis. Why 7? There are Prathama, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti and Saptami. Prathama has one extra variation which is for addressing a person. That is the Sambodhana Prathama. So there are 8 technically, but 2 of them are combined into the Prathama Vibhakti itself. So there are 7 into 3, 21 pratyayas, because both the Prathama Vibhaktis have the same endings. So aujas are the same endings for both Prathama and Sambodhana Prathama. So there are 21 pratyayas which are added to the basic Pratipadikam, which is Rama, or any Shabda for that matter. If we take Rama Shabda, it is these 21 pratyayas that you add. Next, when these pratyayas are added, we get the 21 padas. So each one is eligible to be used in a sentence as a word. Without the addition of those vibhakti pratyayas, you cannot use them in sentences. Next, The 21 pratyayas, of course, you don't have to memorize them now. You will learn the individual forms of each of the shabdas slowly. So we will practice that in class also as much as possible. So for learning vibhaktis, we have to learn two aspects. What are they? The forms. For example, we saw in that shloka, right? Ramaha, Ramam, Ramena, Ramaya. These are the different forms. These we will be learning. So how they are, what is the form that they assume in the different vibhaktis is what we will learn. We will also learn where each of these vibhaktis is to be used and how to use it. This is called the prayogaha. So we learn the rupani, or the rupas and the prayogas of these different vibhakti. This is going to be our task for the rest of the course in Pathamala 1. And as a first step, we will be learning some basic 8 shabdas, which are the Akaranta, Pullinga, Rama Shabda. So if you learn Rama Shabda, which has an Akara ending and which is Pullinga, you will be able to decline all Shabdas which have an Akara ending and which are Pullinga. It can be Krishna, Shiva, Achyuta, anything. You will be able to decline with the help of this Rama Shabda because you will be using the same kind of endings to arrive at the forms or in the 24 forms of the different vibhaktis. Next, we will be learning the Akaranta Napumsakalinga Vana Shabda or Phala Shabda. It's all the same because an Akaranta Napumsakalinga Shabda will be the same irrespective of the Shabda. So the forms will be very similar. Then we have Akaranta Strilinga Rama Shabda, Ikaranta Pullinga Hari Shabda, Ukaranta Pullinga Shambhu or Guru Shabda, Dakaranta Tad Shabda, Dakaranta Etad Shabda. These are all Sarvanama Shabdas. Makaranta Kim Shabda. These are the Shabdas that we will start initially and then slowly we will add more Shabdas. We have to learn and memorize them in course of time. In the course of time, you don't have to get bogged down by this right now. With practice and with repetition and with repeated listening, you will easily be able to memorize these shabdas. So, when we say, do you know Rama Shabda? We mean that do you know the 24 forms of the Rama Shabda? So, learning a Shabda means learning all its 24 forms. So, we will come to this. Before that, I would like to see if there are any questions. Take those questions. Kritam is wrong, is it? Okay, I will check that. Kritam and Agach. Okay. Mani, kindly give the plural spelling. Manihi, Mani, Manayaha. Like Harihi, Hari, Harayaha. This Manihi, Mani, Manayaha. Vayam in Lingam, can we say Trishu Lingeshu Samanaha? Yes, you can say that. Trishu Lingeshu Samanaha means in all the 3 lingas it is the same. Mandura is a stable. Mandura means a stable where horses are kept. Okay, many people have asked Mandura. It is in the textbook. We have learned that word. I'm asking for the roots of the verbs. T.S. Krishnan Mahoday, can you explain your question, please? I didn't understand.
Are you able to hear
Ram
me?
Ram,
Ram Ram.
yes.
Yeah. See, the roots are the words. No, it was not mentioned in this thing. We wanted to know where can we learn that. I mean, some of the roots are not explained. The recent ones, especially today and last week's,
Okay.
those words. The roots, if it is there, no, it will be easy for us to make the conjugation.
Okay, so I will give you the roots probably in the next class or so. But with the help of the Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam form, you will be able to arrive at the other 8 forms. Out of the 9 forms, 1 is given. But I will still give you the roots because in many cases the roots are not, for example, dhyayati, the actual root is dhyai dhatu. So to that, if like nam you add namati, you will get dhyayati, which is not the correct form. So there are certain modifications that the root undergoes in order to be used as a lat lakara form. So that is why I have given you not the root but the Prathama Ekavachanam form, Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam. So you can derive the other 8 forms based on that. That will be easier for you. At this stage, you don't need to go into the roots. That is why I've given you the first form.
Okay, thank you. I thought just the other way. I thought that root is name means we will be able to convert. But what you are saying is right. I mean, you're better if you don't have the roots.
Thank you. Ram.
Okay.
Next is can you read the previous one, Rama? Where is Sup? Sorry, I did not understand. So I will explain that to you. So here you will get an idea of why you get this name Sup. The Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam form has the pratyaya Sup, isn't it? I'll show this as a slide. Yes, here you can see that Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam form is a Su. And the Saptami Vibhakti, which is the last Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam form, this is the last form, it has Su. So if you combine this Su and the last letter P, you get Su. So it is nothing but an abbreviation for the entire set of these 21 pratyayas. So that is how you get the name Sup Pratyaya. So that's why the name Subantam. So that which has Supratyaya as its ending is a Subantam. I cannot understand what Vibhakti is. Vibhakti is nothing but an ending. Why we add it is because we want to use the same noun in different ways. That is, in English, we have prepositions which are written separately, whereas in Sanskritam, you combine this preposition along with the noun itself and use it as the basic noun in a particular form, which is called the Vibhakti. And the Vibhakti ending determines which context it is to be used in. As we learn more sentences and more the Vibhaktis in detail, you will understand this fully. For now, just know that they are endings, and because we need to use them in different contexts, we are adding different pratyayas in order to arrive at those forms. Okay. Why 24 forms? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 7 vibhaktis. Okay. With Prathama having 2 lines. So that makes it 8 lines. With 3 vachanas, it is 24 forms. In reality, both the forms of Prathama Vibhakti are the same because Su Aujas, there is no difference. Because of certain grammar rules, the forms in the Sambodhana Prathama of each Shabda may be slightly different from the Prathama. That is why we say that there are 24 forms of the Shabda to be learnt. Technically, there are only 7 Vibhaktis with 3 Vachanas which we need to learn. The list of Shabdas, we will do the Shabdas. So anyway, this presentation will be in the portal, will be in the course page. So you will learn the list of Shabdas. Also, I will put up the actual Shabdas also along with along with the next class slides, and then you can start slowly memorizing them, because that is when it will be easy for you to start using them in sentences. Why is it su in nominative? It should be a, right? See, all this is given by Paninian grammar. So these are all given things. We just have to learn how these are to be used. So don't worry too much about the su, aujas and all that. They are just to help you understand that there are certain endings which are added and you get some other final form. There is a long way of deriving these forms according to the grammar rules. So don't at all worry about that. That is not for our stage of learning at all. We will slowly get there. In the book, it is given Niketanam for house. Is it correct? Yes. Bhavanam, Griham, Niketanam. All these are words which refer to a house. Some people easily read the Shabda, Anta, Linga. It is only with practice. Maybe they have learnt it for some time before. So slowly with practice, it will come. So now we are going to be only doing this, identifying the Shabda or arriving at the Padam based on the Shabda. One of these two we will be doing. So when we do it in both ways, continuously for a length of time, we will easily be able to do it. We do not have to memorize the Supratyaya slide. Please don't do this. I just gave this to you to give you an understanding. In fact, when I upload it on the course page, I will delete this page. Okay, those were the questions. Now I have an announcement to make that on Thursday, I have some other personal work, so we will not have class on Thursday. We will meet next Tuesday. If you please go through what we have done so far and try to assimilate this, because this is important for whatever we will be learning in the coming classes. So let us recite the Mangala Shloka, Shanti Mantra. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। धन्यवादः। शुभरात्रिः। पुनः अग्रिमसप्ताहे मिलामः।